Jane Smith is 9 hours into a commercial flight. She finishes a glass of red wine, lands in Germany, and rolls her carry-on through a brightly lit terminal. At customs, she hands over a black American passport, clears the checkpoint, and takes the U-Bahn train toward her hotel. She told the customs officer she is conducting technical consultations for the consulate. That is a lie. Jane is a hacker for the CIA, and she is traveling to a covert intelligence base. You won't find this base hidden in a remote underground bunker. It operates completely in plain sight, deeply embedded within the largest U.S. consulate in the world, right in the middle of Frankfurt. Her daily work takes place inside the European branch of the Center for Cyber Intelligence. Here, she and her colleagues write millions of lines of code to develop a cache of advanced cyber weapons famously exposed in the Vault 7 leaks. These tools carry severe capabilities. They can quietly bypass the end-to-end encryption on messaging apps like WhatsApp or Signal, and they can remotely activate the microphones inside ordinary smart devices, turning everyday phones and TVs into live listening bugs. For high-security systems completely disconnected from the internet, Jane uses a strategy called fine dining. Exploiting the open borders of the Schengen Agreement, she can board a morning train to almost anywhere in Europe, physically plug a malware-loaded USB drive into a target machine, and be back in Frankfurt in time for supper. The front lines of modern cyber warfare are perfectly disguised. State-sponsored digital infiltration looks exactly like an ordinary European business commute. After completing her work in Germany, Jane is reassigned, but when she lands at her new destination in Australia, the routine breaks. A customs officer flags her for a secondary screening. Agents prepare for exactly this scenario at Camp Peary, Virginia, a 10,000-acre facility commonly called the Farm. It functions as a massive fake city where recruits learn the mechanics of surviving interrogations and evading surveillance. Jane relies on strict psychological conditioning. When the officer asks why she is visiting and where she is staying, she delivers her cover story with rapid, concise answers. She suppresses all delaying sounds, avoids swallowing heavily, and stops any nervous physical tics. The officer clears her, and she enters the country. Advanced technology is only one part of the agency's arsenal. To maintain a completely invisible presence globally, the CIA relies on highly engineered human behavioral conditioning to ensure its operatives never stand out in a crowd. A few days later, Jane is drinking beers and playing a game of craps at a casino in Alice Springs, a small town in the Australian outback. She is surrounded by other Americans who look entirely unremarkable. These casual players are actually running Pine Gap, a highly classified joint defense facility located just outside of town. Pine Gap is an immense installation. Across the harsh desert landscape sit 38 massive radar dishes, most of them concealed beneath large, protective, golf ball-like structures called radomes. This animated diagram shows exactly how those antennas function. They maintain constant communication with geosynchronous spy satellites that match the Earth's rotation, intersecting wireless communications across Europe, Africa, and Asia 24 hours a day. Programs operated from this site, like Echelon and X-Keyscore, systematically collect online chats, phone calls, and emails. That data stream has a lethal endpoint, providing real-time tracking information to locate targets for military drone strikes. Operatives share laughs over drinks in a local casino, while just a few miles away, their facility coordinates global surveillance networks and guides deadly airstrikes. Jane commutes freely between these operations in Germany and Australia, but there is a final tier of the agency's infrastructure that remains strictly off the books, inaccessible even to most agents. This is a global network of black sites. They are secret, unacknowledged prisons operating entirely outside the boundaries of international law. The most widely recognized of these sites is the naval base at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, constructed to hold international terrorist suspects indefinitely, often without official charges, formal convictions, or trials. To populate these sites, the CIA utilized an extraordinary rendition program. Suspects were kidnapped, illegally shackled, blindfolded, and flown on unmarked planes to covert foreign prisons, like a 2-story villa codenamed Quartz, located on a Polish military base. The threads of this global network are deeply intertwined. Those illegal rendition flights and secret detentions were allegedly planned from the exact same completely ordinary-looking Frankfurt consulate base where Jane develops malware. The intelligence machine coordinating global warfare, mass surveillance, and secret detention operates seamlessly around us. It hides squarely behind the most boring, mundane routines of everyday society.